A very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on our television. From today onwards, we will be bringing you news right at 7:45 p.m. My name is Ashinsini Veerasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines first. 25 new cabinet ministers and 39 state ministers were sworn in before the president. The issue of gender inequality is heightened during the COVID-19 period, International Monetary Fund official says. News in detail. The swearing-in ceremony of the new cabinet ministers and state ministers took place in the audience hall of the Temple of Sacred Tooth Relic in Kandy today morning. In the meantime, 23 members of parliament have been appointed as district coordinating committee chairmen. The cabinet of ministers and state ministers of the new government were sworn in before President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today morning. Thus, the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was sworn in as the Minister of Finance and Minister of Urban Development and Housing. Minister of Education is Professor G.L. Pires. Minister of Labour is Nimal Siripala de Silva, while Minister of Health is Pavitra Devi Wanyarachi. Dinesh Gunawardena was sworn in as the Minister of Foreign Relations and Dr. Bandula Gunawardena is the Minister of Trade. Dallas Alaha Peruma is the new Minister of Electricity and Johnston Fernando is the Minister of Highways. Furthermore, Bimal Veeravansa is Minister of Industries and Dr. Ramesh Patirana is Minister of Plantation. Prasanna Ranatunga remains as the Minister of Tourism. Furthermore, 39 state ministerial portfolios have been introduced for new sectors in the new government. Issuing a statement, the President's Media Division highlights that the composition of the cabinet has been formulated in a pragmatic and a realistic manner to implement the national program. Accordingly, new state ministerial portfolios have been introduced to uplift the local industries in parallel to the government's country-first approach. Thus, Dayasri Jayasekara is appointed as the State Minister of Batik, Handloom Fabrics and Local Apparel Products. Arundhika Fernando is the State Minister of Coconut, Palmyra and Rubber Product Promotion and Allied Industrial Production and Export Diversification. Moreover, Kanaka Herath is the State Minister of Company Establishment Reforms, Tea Estate Crops, Tea Factory Modernization and Tea Export Diversification. Janaka Wakkumbura is the State Minister of Development of Sugar Cane, Maize, Cashew, Pepper, Cinnamon, Cloves, Betel Production and Promotion of Allied Products and Export. State Minister for Cane, Brass, Clay Furniture and Rural Industry Promotion is Prasanna Ranavira. On the other hand, Gampaha district candidate Dr. Nalaka Godheva was sworn in as a State Minister of the Urban Development, Coast Conservation, Waste Disposal and Public Sanitation. Significantly, former Central Bank Governor and SLPP National List candidate Ajit Niwad Cabral is the State Minister of Finance and Capital Markets and Public Enterprise Reforms. Colombo Stock Exchange data showed that investor sentiments appear to have improved as the Colombo stock market yesterday bounced back to post a near 1% gain with turnover touching a new recent high. Dealers also said that the rupee was quoted firmer at 183 rupees and 95 cents this morning in the spot market, while bond yields were flat at open. According to the CSE data, all share price index increased by 0.89% or 45.65 points to close at 5,196.4 points, while the S&P SL 20 index also increased by 0.96% or 21.3 points to close at 2,231.78. Turnover increased by 301.2% relative to Monday to 2.7 billion rupees. Year to date, the ASPI is down 15% and S&P SL 20 index is lower 24% but have gained since the country reopened for the post-COVID-19 recovery period in mid-May. One of the brokers at the CSE, First Capital, said the return of the institutional investors reverted the bourse back to the positive sentiment after being held back in the red zone for the past two sessions. They also said that Commercial Bank led the turnover, contributing to 37% of the total, with the reactivated investor sentiment from expectancy of the favourable impact from the IFC equity investment. Moreover, John Keel's Holdings and Hatton National Bank boosted the turnover amounting to 40%. NDB Securities said indices closed in green as a result of price gains in counters such as LOLC Holdings, Ceylon Tobacco Company and Dialog Exciter. Mixed interest was observed in Sampath Bank and People's Insurance, whilst retail interest was noted in Axis Engineering and Tokyo Cement Company. The banking sector was the top contributor to the market turnover, while capital goods sector was the second highest contributor. Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. LOLC Group becomes the most profitable listed entity in Sri Lanka for 2 consecutive years, posting an impressive 19.8 billion rupees profit after tax for the year in comparison to 19.6 billion rupees in the last year. Established 40 years ago, LOLC has spearheaded the small and medium enterprise lending and microfinance revolution in Sri Lanka and the region. Excelling on a national level, LOLC has now established itself as a leading microfinance institution in the countries which it operates. Despite the sale of Prosac, LOLC still has a foothold in the fastest growing Southeast Asian country via LOLC Cambodia, the 4th largest microfinance institution in terms of portfolio size. The company has recorded an impressive performance with a 57% year-on-year growth of its earnings to conclude the year. Venturing into Myanmar in 2013 as a greenfield operation, LOLC Myanmar Microfinance Company Limited has now become the 3rd largest among the 176 monetary financial institutions in the country, with an asset base of 109 million US dollars, a portfolio of 77.8 million US dollars, and a growing deposit book of 13.8 billion US dollars. Since LOLC's acquisition of Commercial Leasing and Finance PLC in 2008, CLC has been instrumental in driving the group's vision of financial inclusion in the country as a leading credit supplier. Ceylon Bank, an associate of the LOLC Group, also contributed 1.3 billion rupees to the group's profits. The group's insurance business, LOLC Life Assurance and LOLC General Insurance, demonstrated an impressive performance during the year by recording 1.5 billion rupees in comparison to a loss of 175 million rupees recorded in the last year. International Monetary Fund's Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva explains that gender inequality is heightened in this COVID-19 pandemic situation, especially since women are more prone to contact-intensive sectors of the economy and informal sector. She made these observations joining a recent virtual discussion conducted by an international women's forum.
I see 4 risks for gender equality, for losing momentum. The first one is women more than men are in the contact-intensive parts of the economy, in hospitality. They are actually a lot in healthcare, where we need them so badly. But that means that they're losing jobs. They are impacted by unemployment more than men, and the data shows it. Secondly, women are more part of the informal economy, and the informal economy is hard to support at any point, and therefore they risk to be carrying more the brunt of this crisis through that channel. 3, women always do more unpaid work at home, care for kids, for elderly, doing chores. Last but not least, our future. We see boys and girls out of school in countries where there is no digital, and by the way, on digital, women again are behind in access. When they go back to school, more likely it would be more of the boys, less of the girls. And this is such a tremendous loss of productive capacity for our future.
Bringing forward a wide array of proposals to the newly elected government, the Women's Chamber of Industry and Commerce requests the government to create a futuristic education policy which would deliver required skills and competencies for businesses by keeping pace with the digital advancements using emerging technology. The Women's Chamber of Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka, initiated in 1985, aims to incorporate women entrepreneurs into the mainstream of business activity in the country. Accordingly, the Women's Chamber of Industry and Commerce in a statement has listed its expectations from the new government. WCIC Chairperson Chaturi Ranasinghe states that the newly elected parliament should facilitate opportunities for women entrepreneurs, especially the SMEs, to make a greater contribution to the economy. Furthermore, the Women's Chamber of Industry and Commerce stresses that government should take measures to ensure safe and hassle-free environment at workplace and public transport. Moreover, the Chamber highlighted that the government should enact policies to ensure the safety and security of women and children at all times. It further added that the lawmakers should ensure foreign employment generates guaranteed pay and adequate human conditions, and that they need to explore how to ensure minimum standards for all labour within Sri Lanka, pay as well as facilities. We will be back with stock updates after this short break. Welcome back after the break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 24.17 points to close at 5,220.57, and the S&P SL20 gained 45.42 points to close at 2,277.2. The turnover was 2.7 billion rupees and over 67 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all the news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at 7:45 p.m. Until then, take care. Good night.